Yo, yo.
Yo, John, how are you?
Pretty good. How you doing, my man?
Pretty good, man. I really like the poster in the back.
Oh, yeah, my iconic poster.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram and I was like, holy shit, that's just genius. Like, if you're not
Yeah,
on,
I'm actually friends with the owner, so he takes care of us a lot. But dude's a brilliant digital marketer.
really?
You know, every single campaign he's ever run with retargeting ads or the apps he uses on Shopify store, they're definitely a leader in their industry. Absolutely.
Oh shit, man. That's always the best. So for those of you that don't know John, let me just summarize John's resume real quick. So John and I met about 3 weeks ago in LA. We were both attending a fitness coaching, business coaching conference. And John, I would say John was one of the, more successful guys there. And what impressed me the most about him was the fact that he was paying as much attention as everybody else, and he was he was taking down notes, and he was so into it. And I was like, it just made me feel like the process of learning never ends for all of us. And then I did some research, and I was even talking to him about it, and he told me he founded Modus Apparel, and he runs Avintiv Media and a whole lot of other things. It was just impressive to say the least. And over the last decade, he has helped on his LinkedIn. I'm just reading it from his LinkedIn. It's so awesome. Over the last decade, he has helped more than 75 companies to scale up, from running and managing some of the hottest nightclubs in Milwaukee to starting Modus Apparel, which is now sold in over 180 countries, and a proud partner of bodybuilding.com. That's when you know you made it. And then his media agency, Avintiv, manages over 30 top-tier brands across the nation, Miami, NYC, LA, and have clients like Maserati, Mercedes, and Ferrari. Quite a resume, my man. That's pretty cool.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you for the kind words.
No, dude, it's always awesome to talk to somebody like you. But yeah, let's get started, because the goal today is to talk about personal branding and then running these businesses. So let's start with, as an entrepreneur, what do you spend the most amount of your time on these days? Like, what does your daily schedule consist of?
I mean, right now I want to say 13 clients I'm coaching one-on-one right now. I'm getting ready to launch my group coaching with 10 more clients on April 1st. So I personally, away from my media agency, have 22 clients, and I'm growing all their business at the same time right now. So the majority of my time right now is spent coaching and teaching other entrepreneurs on how to grow their business, how to be vulnerable, how to reposition not only their business, but themselves. How do they find out when you become an entrepreneur? You don't just set up one day and say, I'm going to be a business owner and make $1 million a year. No, you probably hit the wall doing something. You got treated like shit at work. Something happened, or you didn't want to be involved in that box. You don't just wake up out of the womb and you say, you know what, today I'm going to be successful and I'm going to change the world. I started to evolve into that, but my main focus right now, over the past years, I've hired coaches and consultants that allow me to automate my company. So, Avintiv Media kind of runs itself right now. I have a director of operations who handles all of our accounts payables, manages all the clients with our account manager. So I don't really have to run the company day to day. I know what's going on. We have a lot of high-end consulting clients that pay upfront retainers for us to build their companies for them. So with that being said, I know what's going on, but I've built systems where every Wednesday and every Friday I have reports that are due to me at a certain time. So I literally can be working from an island somewhere, and I know exactly where our accounts are, how much money's coming in, how much money's going out. Are people from my page able to watch too?
I think so, yeah, because I tagged you on it.
Awesome. What up, Eric? So the majority of my time right now is spent doing, I'll get to this first. One of my mentors right now told me to outsource everything but genius.
Wow.
If you guys have a notepad, write that down. Outsource everything but genius. So for instance, right now I have 3 companies. I'm selling 2 of them. My coaching business is scaling up very quickly. Our Avintiv Media is scaling up very quickly. We're already beyond track of doing 7 figures in our second year of business, which is a dream come true for me. But you can't do that when you're everything to everyone. You can't do that when you're the CEO. You can't be a million people in your business. That's what you do when you start out being an entrepreneur.
Right.
You wear 20 hats. You teach yourself this. Everything I do is about scalability now. Exactly. So it's not a perfect world that I live in yet right now, but I have definitely created a lot of operations and systems and procedures to have certain companies run themselves. Like Modus, no lie, it's doing consistently I would say $10,000 to $20,000 a month. That's not a lot of money for the activewear compared to like my boy Randall with LiveFit and Gymshark. But I haven't touched the company in probably 9 months, 8 to 9 months. It runs itself. And that's why I'm actually selling it, because our other companies are scaling up 1,000 times quicker. Modus would have to do 400 grand a month to even catch up to the other ones. But the majority of my time right now is working on the business, not in the business. And a lot of entrepreneurs that are starting out their business, I recommend you read the book called E-Myth by Michael E. Gerber.
E-Myth?
And what that teaches you to do is it teaches you to work on your business, not in your business. Now, you heard my full story when we were at Sterling's, and you kind of know I went through some hell and trial and error and roadblocks in my life, and a lot of people are starting to learn about that. But I don't want people to look at my Instagram page anymore and just see success. I don't want people to see these companies and think that there's just money flowing in. It just popped up overnight. Like, no, there was trials and tribulations, 9 years of hustling $100 a week, getting sued from this billion-dollar company, getting sued from that person. Like, I've been ducking and dodging left and right hooks for 9 years straight, and it's finally starting to pay off. And a lot of my followers and people that look up to me now, they're only seeing the past 6 months.
Right.
They're only seeing some of the friends they hang out with, the mentors, you know, like the Sterlings, the Gerards, all of those types of people. They're like, oh, cool, entrepreneurship's really dope. And but they weren't with me for the past 8 years. They just see the tip of the iceberg.
No, dude, that is so important. And I think you touched on like quite a few things. And just want to say, like, when you said outsource everything but genius, like in fitness, yeah, we like Sterling would say like outsource everything but push-ups. And
yes,
I just think, like, you know, if you go through the regular schooling system, if you go through the regular learning process of society, you end up thinking that you should be able to do it all on your own. And outsourcing is something, and this is like I love Gary Vee, but he you know, he puts out this vibe that hustle and grind everything on your own. And I think that's awesome to hustle and do it all on your own. But what happens is a lot of people don't pursue projects or don't pursue what they want to do just because they're like, shit, I don't know how to do this myself. And then they just like hit that wall in their brain where they just don't move forward. And I think like outsourcing is just, that's how.
Well, do you know the biggest misconception why people don't outsource?
Tell me.
It's one word.
What is it?
Ego. They have ego involved. They think that they can do everything. They think that if people find out that it's not them that built the company, or they have a third party, or they have digital assistants, they feel as if people find out, because like what Sterling said, people wear so many masks in life. And I've done it for years. Don't get me wrong. When things have gotten rough, I've put a mask on and I act like I'm happy. I act like everything's phenomenal. Right now in my life is probably, the past 3 months are probably the best life I've ever had in my entire life. And that didn't just come up. Gotta plug it in. That came from actually being vulnerable. It came from actually being honest and being real with myself and building my ideal life. And a lot of people don't outsource, or they don't understand how to start their business because there's ego involved. And I don't work with clients that have egos. I don't work with anyone that has egos. I don't even have friends that have egos anymore, because at the end of the day, it's going to be like pulling teeth to try to work with them.
Right.
Be friends with them. And if you have a mask on top of your face and you're not vulnerable, you're not real, and you're not authentic, that's how your brand is going to be. That's how your customers are going to be. You're building an inauthentic tribe of lies, manipulation, just people wearing masks. And I love my clients right now so much. After Sterling's, I shit you not, I had 12 of my 14 clients crying.
Mm-hmm.
Literally bawling their eyes out of my office because I peeled their life apart like an onion.
Right.
Because Sterling did it to me, broke me down. I was like, holy shit. Like, what did he just do to me? And he's a boss at it, right?
Yeah.
He's had phenomenal coaches. He's investing the money and the time to learn how to do those things. And I started doing that as well. And ever since then, I've had 3 clients. Their businesses have gone up 30% since I got back from LA.
Dude, and it's just like the energy that, like, after that weekend, my energy in my everyday life started to change. And
yeah,
I see some of the people watching here that have 9-to-5 jobs. And that few days after I got back, I was talking to one of my bosses, and my job, and he pointed that out to me. He's like, holy shit, you know a lot about sales. And in my current job, I don't have anything to do with sales. My role is engineering, more like adoption and management side. But it's so fascinating when one area of your life, when you expand on that and you become really good at, the other areas you can't stay average at. Like, it's like, however you do one thing, you do everything. And it's so fascinating for me to even see that, because even in the corporate world, you see the people who are the entrepreneurs, the hustlers on the inside, people who are like constantly improving themselves versus the people who don't improve themselves every day, who just get stagnant.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, I've had a lot of friends in my lifetime. Like I've been a social butterfly wherever I move. When I moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, within 3 months I knew everybody. I moved to Scottsdale, within 3 months I knew everybody. And it doesn't mean I'm some phenomenal person. It just means I love people. I'm a people person.
Right.
And as you evolve, as your companies grow, as you grow as a person, like now I'm reading. Well, up until Sterling's event, I was reading a book to 2 books a week, every single week, no matter how busy I was. I worked 70 to 100 hours a week. So anyone that has excuses that they can't read, they can't learn, I call bullshit. I'll call you out to your face. So I invest all my time and energy in relationships and people that are bettering me. You don't have to make $1 million a month or a year to be friends with me. You just have to make me a better person as I make you a better person. If I ever feel like you're dishonest, you're wearing a mask, you're not vulnerable, you just feed me bullshit, if it's excuse after excuse or you're getting complacent, you'll get cut out of my life. And that's not me sounding like an asshole. I just know so clear where I'm going over the next 25 years. No one's getting in my way. I don't care if you're a family member, I'll put you on hold. If you're in my life as a friend, I'll put you on hold. Like, I have a dire need to reach my goals and my vision, and nobody's gonna fucking stop me.
I fucking love that, dude. I fucking love that. And
I mean, you have to. You can't let, like right now I have a girlfriend, phenomenal. I will probably marry this woman and have children with her. She is that phenomenal.
I love it.
But you have to go through so much bullshit to find out someone who's phenomenal. And I've dropped girlfriend after girlfriend after girlfriend. Now, I might not have been the best boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like, I work so much. I put my businesses before my girlfriends in the past. So they have every right to be upset and throw the fits that they threw. But you got to cut people out of your life that are toxic. I have some clients right now that are launching 7-figure companies with us, or on the track to doing 7 figures, and none of their friends support them. And I'm like, you're paying me, like, I'm expensive. Like, I don't charge, like, it is very expensive to work with me one-on-one or in a group setting. I'm like, why are you going to drop 10 or 20 grand to work with me?
Right.
But yet when you leave the motivation bubble that we have here and the tribe that we have here, why are you going to go back out to the toxic world? It's like I'm your fitness trainer and you're going straight to Pizza Hut right after. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
No, dude, I've been thinking a lot about that lately. And like somebody, actually, one of my other friends who's also a top level player, he asked me that yesterday. I was on the phone with him, and he said, he's like, Mo, what are your dreams right now, right? And what are your financial goals or whatever, he asked me. And I gave him, my answer, and he said, to what percentage of your friend circle can you share that with without any hesitation? And I was like, yeah. Fuck, like 5%, right? Like, I'm hesitant in sharing that with a lot of people. And he's like, bro, move out of there. Like, you need to get the fuck out of there. And it's just, yeah, like, the people, because like what happens is a lot of people who are just watching right now, people start off with just, living the normal life. A lot of people here have careers already in something. Yeah. They're 9 to 5. And what happens is they like, part of them can't go to bed at night. They just lay on their pillow and they're like, fuck, I'm meant for so much more. And then they start their side hustle, or they start that thing, and that just fuels them. And that puts them in different circles. But what happens is, when other people in their life talk shit or try to bring them down, they go to those Facebook groups, those little communities they have for inspiration and to push them. And that's just not enough if you think about it. And that's the reason, right? Like, when you look at Gerard Adams, or you look at all these guys, they're always hanging out with that circle they have. And they're like partying with them, they're working with them. Everything involves that core circle. And do
you know where I fit in my ecosystem? Like, with my group of friends, do you know where my what I make monthly or yearly fits in?
Tell me.
Take a guess.
Oh, the money wise?
Yeah.
I would say 500,000, 100,000.
No. Not how much money I make. In my social circle, where do you think I rank along with my friends?
Oh, in your social circle, I feel like you're probably in the middle or lower quadrant.
Bottom.
I love it.
One of my mentors right now is 25 years old, and he's about to clear 75 million this year. So, like, when I say I hang out with motivating people and inspiring people, it's not just about the money. These are people that have, like, he's got a foundation and he's 25 years old for inner city kids. Like, I hang out with the most amazing people, and they have enough money to buy a Bugatti every other day of the week or this or that, but they don't flaunt.
Right.
You know, all the people, like, I live in Scottsdale. Everyone here, love you guys for whoever's going to watch this, but a lot of people are $30,000 millionaires. They act like they're balling out of control and this and that. And don't get me wrong, I've been a guy that's put a mask on and make things seem a certain way. I've made a lot of money, but I wasn't happy when I made that money because I didn't fully know who I was. So a lot of the people I hang out with are good for humanity. They better themselves in their community. They do charity. They do so much for everyone involved with them, and that motivates me to become a better person. So I make the least out of any of my friends, and you know, my older circle, you know, I'm probably 10 times where they're at, but I don't surround myself with people that are at the same level as me because you are your 5 best friends.
Right.
And at the end of the day, but the thing is with me is, you know, the story I told with Sterling, I tried to run from my past self for the longest time. Before I moved to Milwaukee, I had a past that was very, very bad. It was very, you know, I was a loser. I was a straight loser, had no money, owed people money. I was not successful one bit. And when I lived in Milwaukee and started nightclubs and nightlife, and my brand kind of blew up very quickly, I acted like how people I thought wanted me to act. I acted cooler than I was. I acted like I was making more money than I was. I was making really good money, but I was living a fake life. I was trying to act like I was cooler than everything around me because I've never had that type of money before or people liking me, and I loved it and wanted more of it. So at the end of the day, I surround myself with people right now that they don't wear a mask. They don't care about the money they're making. They're making more than they know what to do with, but they're good fucking people. You know, they're people that my girlfriend and I go out with them and their girlfriends. We go out with them and their wives. And, you know, and I'm one of the youngest people that I surround myself with. You know, you don't want to be the most successful person of your group because they are always going to look out for you for handouts. They are always going to ask for favors. They are always going to want something from you. And a lot of people, I get DMs all the time. How can I get to hang out with you, or how da-da-da-da? My biggest recommendation is provide value to someone.
Right.
You know, if I want to meet an influencer, celebrity, or this or that, I'm not going to reach out to see if I can meet them or go to coffee. I'm going to literally blow so much value towards them, they're literally going to notice me.
I love that.
Like, that's how I've made it through every industry. I've broken through every industry sector and learned who the top dog was. And I literally just started DMing me tons of free information, tons of this, tons of that, supporting them. But do you know that, like, when Randall started LiftFit, like, I was a huge supporter of Randall. I bought tons of LiftFit. And when I went up to Randall at the Arnold, that's why we've been homies for 3 years. I went up to Randall, and before I could even walk up to him, he literally sticks his hands up, and he's like, "Boles," and he comes and gives me a huge hug. First time ever meeting him. Because I provided value. I went into the relationship not wanting something. Do you know how many DMs we get of people just wanting shit? And I'm like, I'm on this scale compared to Randall. Randall gets thousands of DMs. But people need to start providing value to you. You know, at the end of the day, people just want, and it's me. My whole circle right now, like, that's why I'm launching group coaching April 1st, because half those people can't afford me one-on-one.
Right.
And I'm not launching it to make more money. I'm launching it so I can help the masses. I can help people and save costs for them so they can afford my type of services. You know, I'm launching an automated program come June. I'm launching a mastermind. I'm doing so many things to better entrepreneurs and small businesses that have nothing to do with my personal gain. Now, will I make money from that? Absolutely. I have to pay the bills. You know, I get to start different projects. I get to enhance, you know, my brands, my businesses, but I'm doing things to give back to people. And that's what so many people don't do anymore. It's always about themselves.
No, dude, and it's so true. Like, even at the Arnold's 2 weeks ago, like, there's so many people who just want to meet these Instagram celebrities or these, like, real celebrities, and their goal is just to take a picture with them. And it's like that person is like, all you want to give them is to just take from them, and it just never feels good. Versus, like, providing value, or I don't even, like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of meeting Randall? If you, like, is it just to take a fucking selfie? Like, what value are you gonna add to his life before you, like, that's how I think now. And it's so key, man. Like talking about circles of people that you hang out with, like, and with, like, people that you associate with, to people that you want to be with. It's like, that shit changes you. And I think, like, we don't emphasize enough of how many, like, these masterminds or being in those circles help elevate your standard of living. Just because, like, as a person, you are the product of your environment, and that shit gets old quick. But yeah, let's change topics real quick.
Okay.
Personal branding is, like, a topic that's, like, I would say is not much older than 3 or 4 years, where it really started getting traction, where people are like, personal branding is so much more important than fucking having a resume at times. And, or like, because I know people, even in the medical field, there are doctors who have built their personal brand that is so strong that every time they write a clinical research paper, like, 500,000 people go and like buy that paper just to read it, just because they are associated with that one doctor. And even though their day job is, doing what every other doctor does, but it's like the power of personal branding using social media has gotten so much traction. And I still believe that a lot of people are underestimating it. What is your take on just personal branding in general?
Well, I think the biggest, and I did this for many years, people are scared for personal branding because they're scared of what people will find out in their past. They're scared that people will think that they're a fraud. They're scared of so many things. And I was that guy for the longest time. My first company, when I launched in Milwaukee with event planning, I was so worried by how popular my services were getting that people would from my past life would find out what I was doing and try to come find me. So I started my first company with trying to hide. But to get back to the topic, personal branding, so many people are so scared of what people are going to think of them, about what they post about or what they believe in. And if anyone's have been following me for a while and they now see me on Instagram, I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. I have sleeve tattoos and I walk into boardroom meetings with guys that are worth billions of dollars. Like, they don't judge you if you are authentic. If you walk in like you have a stick up your ass or you act like a know-it-all, they will literally hate me 10 times worse because of my tattoos. But if you walk in humble, authentic, and you walk in providing value, no one judges nowadays. The biggest misconception is so many people spend the majority of their lives wondering or worrying about what the person next to them is thinking. What is she thinking about me? Should I wear this blue shirt or that red shirt? Just do you and stop worrying about what people think. So yeah, half of my clients right now, I'm building personal brands for them, and they're paying at going for the next 10 or 15 years. You still there?
Yeah, you're
good.
Getting cut off. Your video isn't moving, but I can hear your voice. Can you hear me? All right, perfect.
Good now?
Now we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what I do with my coaching clients all the time is I don't care if you want 100,000 followers, $100 million. I don't care if you want a girlfriend, a boyfriend. What I need to know you need to know what your vision is and where it's going over the next 10 or 20 years. And if you can't write down what your vision is, how are you supposed to position yourself on social media? What are you going to talk about? What services or products are you selling? What are your buyer personas? Like if you don't know, so for instance, like I talk a lot about coaching on my Instagram. I don't really talk about my other companies because I know not many people are watching my Instagram to go buy a $25,000 website or a $100,000 consulting package. So why am I going to sit there and talk about websites, right? I might throw some key things out there like free website audit or this or that, but I'm not going to be getting clients or customers through social media by talking about the type of stuff. So I know that I have 3 buyer personas that I work with for coaching, that our company works with for coaching, consulting, and I know everything about those buyer personas. I know their pain points. I know what their struggles are. I've faced half of what they've gone through. I am those type of people just 5, 6, 7 years ago. So I've positioned myself as the go-to business consultant, business coach, and in the past, I've been so scared to position myself as that because people would come out of the woodworks. He never graduated college, or, oh, you did this or did that. I was so scared of what people thought. And I didn't, dude, you read my LinkedIn. It says 70 companies or 50 companies.
Yeah.
I'm now, as of yesterday, I think 135 to 138. I just didn't put it on LinkedIn because I didn't want people to think something different. So I've built 130 companies in my lifetime, or have helped grow or build or consult 130 companies. And it doesn't mean I'm some guru at the top of the food chain. It just means I'm a couple steps in front of whoever's hiring me. I don't know everything. I don't have all the answers. I invest in coaches who know more than me, and my mentees and coaches, or the people I coach, know less than me, and they're hiring me to get to where I'm at, and I'm hiring coaches to get me leveled up. And then when I get to the 7-8 figure range, which is close, I pull my clients up to the 7-figure range. So all the courses I launch are for, the group coaching are for people that haven't hit 6 figures, and we bring you to 6 figures in 90 days. Then our one-on-one coaching, you're already at 6 figures. We bring you to multi-6 figures. And then we're launching a mastermind group towards the end of the year that's only for getting multi-6-figure earners to 7 figures. You have to actually provide a P&L statement that one of your businesses did $400,000 in revenue per year before you're actually able to join our group.
That is so fucking cool.
So personal
Yeah.
branding and positioning is very key, because at the end of the day, if you give a fuck what everyone thinks about you, and I've gotten a lot of hate from back home in Milwaukee, and I see a couple people from Milwaukee watching, I've gotten cyberbullied. Literally, I've gotten death threats.
Fuck.
I've gotten death threats. People have called my phone and emailed me and said they wish I was dead. They're going to kill me in my sleep, rape my girlfriends. Like, I'm not even kidding. They would Photoshop horrible images of my past companies and sexual innuendos and gay stuff. I went through a lot of cyberbullying, and even when I just got my Scottsdale Magazine article, they glossed me up a little bit in the article, right? They wanted to make, things look a certain way. I had people that retained me as client. They were my client, and I made them millions of dollars. Literally, I would throw events that are $10, $15, $20,000 night revenue events, and they would go on this chain of people talking shit. And they said, we never had him, or wasn't he just a barback, or this or that? And I'm sitting here thinking, like, really? Like, so at the end of the day, you need to not care what people think about you. Because if I saw all these hate comments, if I saw all these haters and people talking shit, I wouldn't be where I'm at today at all. I wouldn't be coaching hundreds of clients in a year. Like, our goal is to hit 250 to 300 clients this year. So
That's
if I was
fucking big.
scared and I didn't position myself correctly, I would be too scared to help those people.
100%. Getting cut off.
Yo.
All right, brother. Way better. Yeah, I love the conversation we're having, and then just started happening. So I was like, let's do another one. So
All good.
the last thing I heard about personal branding was you're going to get a lot of shit from a lot of people, but those people are not worth it from the start. So how do you overcome that negative things in your circle? How do you because a lot of people, when they start their personal brand based on their natural tendency to want to be something else, what happens is their circle is still the same, right? But they see I want to be that. And then they get into this, they see a lot of negative shit. They're like, you know what? My belief system doesn't they're just being held back. So to get in those few months, they have to overcome so much shit to get their personal brand running. So what do you recommend somebody who's just starting? Because both of us have our personal brands. We've been doing it for a minute. But I feel like a lot of people who are just starting to get into it, what would you say your best recommendation is for those people?
They need to know what their why is. They need to know exactly who they are in life. They need to know where they're going. They need to know what their vision is. And if they don't, and they're just faking it till they make it, that's when the bullies and the cyber bullies and the people will break you. Because if you are a fraud or think you're a fraud, or you don't know who you are on this planet, they're just going to steamroll you over because you're not strong enough for it. So the way I look at it, I've always looked at it. I grew up, religious, went to, Christian schools my whole life. I don't go to church anymore. I pray every day, but not a huge believer, you know what I mean? But I just view it as it's a speed bump that God puts in your way, or your higher power puts in your way, because he's testing you to see how bad you really want it. And if this was easy, if starting a personal brand or a website or a business was so easy, everyone in the world would have one.
Right.
I wouldn't be in business. I wouldn't be consulting. I wouldn't be coaching. If starting a business or a personal brand was so easy, I wouldn't have a job. You know what I mean? Everyone would be successful. They'd be driving Rolls Royces to school every day. There would be no need for people to help. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I look at cyber bullies or people that hate on you or want to pick you apart. They're not doing they're not doing anything in their life. They're wasting their energy and time on you. And guess what? The more they talk shit, the more your brand grows. The more you talk. I honestly, I haven't seen hate for probably 6 months. It was probably 6 months ago, or the last time when I got my magazine cover, that a lot of people from back home in Milwaukee or Wisconsin in general talk shit. But at the end of the day, then there were a lot of people that supported me, right? My old friends and family that were supported me, loved them to death. But the people that hated aren't doing anything with their lives.
Right.
They see an Instagram post or a car, or I'm hanging out with this, or I threw a big birthday party. They look at it and they're like, oh, fuck this guy. Who does he think he is? But they don't know the hell I've gone through to get to where I'm at today.
No, totally.
They didn't care to ask. They didn't care to share.
Totally. And it's just, what I've noticed in my life is people that do you think do not support you in the beginning, if you just stay on your course, if you know your why, like you're like, fuck, I'm gonna do it anyway, no matter what gets in my way. Over time, those people change, man. Like over time, some of those people will be wanting to be in your circle. Some of those people will want to learn from you, and that behavior is starting to happen to me, and it feels fucking good because it's like at that time I was being stopped, and now it's like when you stop giving a fuck, those people want to get back. And
yeah, at the end of the day, the best part is when they actually ask for a job like they have for me. And it's like, really, guy, 2 years ago, like I saw the comments you were saying 2 years ago.
Right. I love that moment. We should take a pause and just be happy about that.
Yeah, right.
That's fucking cool.
But at the end of the day, for any recommendation for people starting a business, I've started 8 of my own, and for 6 or 7 years, I was miserable. Like, real talk. I hated my life. I was making really good money. I've never started a business where I didn't make 6 figures, like multi-6 figures, right? That doesn't mean everything. When you hear how much someone makes, or me saying out of my mouth I made multi-6 figures, some people might get ooh, wow, that's awesome. But if you're not happy or you're not fulfilled, it means nothing. I spent, when I was making $250,000 or I was making 6 figures back in Milwaukee, even in Arizona, I was spending more than I was making. I was buying designer stuff. I was buying cars. I was doing dumb shit to fill a void in my life where I wasn't happy. But on the surface, everyone thought I was like the happiest person in the world. So I urge any entrepreneur who's trying to start, find your purpose and write it down. Write what your vision is down. And if you don't write it down and you don't have a game plan on how to get there, you're never going to get there. And that's the whole thing. Like, it's pretty crazy to think that all you have to do in life is think of what you want, write it down, and have an action plan and do it. Not rocket science. What I teach and what I do is not rocket science. I'm not figuring out algorithms at NASA. I'm not at all. There's enough research out there and books and coaches, just like I did for 9 years, 10 years. There's a lot of different resources out there for people to become a better version of themselves. I left Wisconsin, and there's some people from Wisconsin like Colin and Kyle. What up, boys? My 2 old like best friends from back in the day. Love those guys. But I had to leave Wisconsin because the mindset there is so broken. It's so broke. You graduate college, you make 40 grand a year. They stay in that mindset, and they have a goal of maybe hitting 70 grand a month. Now, living out in Arizona, if I don't hit 70 grand in a month, I feel like a failure. Like, real talk. Like, that's on the West Coast. That's what all of us are at right now, or whatever your monthly income is. But back home, people are so like, I'll never be able to do that. I'll never be able to do this, or that would never happen. They're so, even my mom, I love my mom to death. But at some time that even now, she knows I'm successful and how much money I make, and this and that. And she's like, well, are you sure like you want to start this project? Are you sure you want to do this new company? Are you sure you want to do public speaking? Like, she still like has that broken mindset that I'm going to fail. And at the end of the day, I hope I do fucking fail. I hope I fail, because the next time I get back up, I'm going to fucking make 10 times what I made before. And I'm going to have a full story on how to inspire even more people. And I still haven't even shared my full story yet. So, I'm in the process of hopefully at the end of the year writing my first book and launching it with my full story. And I'm sharing it over time. But at the end of the day, you got to start with something somewhere. I'm not special. I didn't just pop out of Wisconsin like, oh, I'm some guru. I just said I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's it.
No, dude, that is so powerful.
Of fucking being sick and tired. I am sick of going from paycheck to paycheck. I'm sick of making money. I'm sick of it snowing. I'm sick of people making excuses. I'm so sick and tired of that lifestyle. So I fucking moved. Mm-hmm. And I think I've 12x'd my income since I've moved. What I was making back home, which was a decent living, I've 12x'd it, 10x'd it. But it's not even about the money. I'm so happy out here. I wake up to clear blue sunny skies 350 days out of the year, 320 days out of the year. It's like, why wouldn't you be your best self every day? What is holding you back? Because you're scared of moving across the country. You're scared of sleeping or living in a shitty rundown apartment. When I first moved to Arizona, I lived in a $750 a month apartment.
Yep.
And in Milwaukee, I lived in a penthouse condo. So don't tell me that you're scared to make a switch, because my next door neighbors were Milwaukee Brewers and Green Bay Packers, and I overlooked the whole city. And when I moved out here, I lived like a fucking, I wouldn't say a peasant, but I wasn't balling by any means. Right. I moved out here with a little bit of cash, and I hustled my ass off. I slanged T-shirts out of the trunk of my car for the longest time, just like Randall did.
That's how.
Because all of my money was tied up into a condo.
That's how Modus took off.
Yeah, I literally moved my whole company and my team out here, and I gave them 3 weeks to sell all their shit.
That's big.
So I just invested the rest of my life savings into a condo. I thought I was going to live in Milwaukee for a while. It took a very long time for the process to go through. All of a sudden I launched Modus. I noticed that it's not going to take off in Wisconsin. We relocated to Arizona, and I literally only had probably 10 grand in my pocket when I moved out here. 10 grand. And I noticed to some people starting out that might sound like a lot of money. That's not a lot of money when you're growing a company that has employees, when you're growing, Modus had money, but me personally, I had 10 grand when I moved out here.
Right.
And that's stressful compared to, when you're sitting on a lot of cash with your previous life or previous job, you move out here with nothing, it's fucking scary. But at the end of the day, I never bitched. I never complained. I just kept hustling and kept moving forward. And that's why I'm at the position I'm at now. And I hope I hit a roadblock soon. I hope I fail soon, because it means that I'm not going to be content. Like, I could stop growing right now, make what I'm making, and live a very phenomenal life and retire probably at the age of 35 or 40 years old. I'll never have to work another day in my life. That's called like complacency. That's like being content. And what Sterling said is you're either evolving or you're retracting. There is no content. Your business doesn't just stay the same, because your competitors are growing. So if you're staying the same and your same revenue, same goals, same everything, you're actually retracting because your competition's blowing past you.
No, dude. And oh man, fuck. We touched on a lot of topics right there, just because like the first one was being in that comfortable zone, like even where you're fucking located, thinking that Milwaukee, Wisconsin is, your home place, and then getting out of there and taking your company from there to there. First of all, that's a big fucking move. But second, just that feeling of feeling comfortable. I feel like so many human beings or so many people just want that comfortable life, right? Like they just go for that, but then before they know it, they start feeling empty on the inside because they're not being challenged every day. They're literally doing the same shit at their work every day. They come home. Like, imagine this, right? Like I was telling you earlier, like in my business, let's say I'm a high performer, and then I can't be a low performer at my work anymore, right? So that area of like competency will show up in other areas too. But for a lot of people, if you're feeling content or you're feeling like stagnant at your job, when you fucking go home to your wife and kids, the same attitude is going to show up. You will start, like, it's throughout your life. And
yeah, and don't get me wrong, living in the Midwest or having a 9-to-5 job, I don't want to paint it as it's this horrible place, because I do have some friends from back home that they make $45,000 a year. They're married. They're looking at having children, and they're the happiest fucking people I've ever met. So if you can find happiness and fulfillment doing what you're doing, making not much money at all, but you raise your kids in a good home, you have a good family, you have a good marriage, and you're happy as shit, by all means, who the hell am I to tell you to live your life when I've done my own route and I wasn't happy for the longest time? So if you work a 9-to-5, if people are watching that work a 9-to-5 and you're happy and you feel like you're your best version and you love your life, fuck, keep doing what you're doing.
No,
like who am I, or who is a coach to tell you
right.
that you need to make more money? Because money doesn't buy you happiness. Fulfillment buys you happiness. Fulfillment is the key to love, the key to wealth, the key to everything. You need to feel fulfilled inside. And with being fulfilled, you know where you're going in life. And if these guys made the mindset of like, hey, this is the only job I'm ever going to have. I'm going to be the best damn person at this job. I'm going to be married and I'm going to have kids at a young age. At the end of the day, who am I to jump in and say that that's the wrong life to live?
No, dude, totally. But I'm going to correct you real quick. When you say money doesn't make you happy, so like in middle class, what happens is, let's say you're this person and your name is Johnny. Johnny goes through, he graduates high school, and then he's on straight path to a fucking college, right? He goes to college, and then before he turns 22, he's in $100,000 in loans, all right? Johnny, in his entire life, is set up for a job that's going to pay him like $70,000 or $50,000. Johnny's beliefs around money are fucked because he's always been told that money doesn't make you happy. But now he's like, shit, I have to make student loan payments. I have to, pay my apartment. I have to pay all of these things. And I'm only making this much. And I think this is where like my problem with that phrase comes in, because we are all trained to say money doesn't make you happy. But I think like you also have a point there, because fulfillment is another big thing that a lot of people miss out on. But
well, if like, sorry to cut you off, but the people that said money doesn't buy you happy were probably broke when you were growing up. I've made a lot of money, and I'm saying from personal experience, money doesn't buy you happiness, but it allows you to be financially free, which allows you to have even better happiness. So use money as a motivation, but don't have it be your everything.
Right.
Being financially free is different than having money run your life. I'm financially free right now. I can literally work from a computer in an island and make the same amount of money that I'm working in my office space right now. You know, I'm financially free to do so. But if you just live, and I've had friends that live just for money. I've lived just for money, and all you're ever going to get is the money. And you're going to be very alone. You're going to be very scared inside. And when your true friends were there for you and you blocked them out because you only cared about money, that you're not going to be left with much.
No, dude,
But you do
totally
need
agree.
money to motivate you to get to level up, to get to the next level. 100%. I love money. Like when Sterling was talking about people hating money, I fucking love money. I do. I get to, you know, take care of my family. I get to go on vacations. I get to do certain things. I get to level up my companies, but I don't let money rule me.
Right.
And I lead off of passion, and I lead off of impact. And the money always follows impact.
Totally. Fuck, totally. Like service. Like, let's say you're a coach and your package costs $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000, $5,000, whatever. The amount of fulfillment you get from helping those kind of people that are willing to invest in themselves is so much more than that number changing in your bank account.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is just everything. Like me changing the life of a morbidly obese person. Like, that just, man, that transformation means so much more than that number changing in my bank account. Like, that shit is real. And coming from that mindset of service, in the process, you'll make a ton of money anyway. And
yeah, I was even watching a video from Lewis House today, and he's mastered the art of giving value. And he says every time he goes into public speaking, he says, how can I be of service to the crowd? How can I be of service and provide value to all these people? But if you just focus on you and yourself and what you are and what you offer, they're not going to buy into anything, because at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's about what you can do for them.
It's little.
And like all my clients right now, a lot of my clients 5x their prices. Like my clients just went up to $1,500 or $2,000 what they're offering, and it was scary. And I had to coach them, give them sales scripts, do all this stuff, and they're closing them left and right right now. I got 3 text messages this morning that 3 of my clients are up $10,000.
Fuck yeah!
Just by believing in themselves, just by switching their mindset, they're up $10,000. Do you know what that did for their families? Do you know what that did for their community? It's so amazing that when you're of service and you're helping people and you're changing their lives, you're actually changing their lives.
What do you say? Yeah, totally. And I think like with those beliefs, sometimes you do need a coach to fucking call you out on your bullshit beliefs to get you there.
Yeah.
And a lot of time, people who are just starting off with their businesses don't have enough money to invest in like great coaches, right? Because you've started a lot of companies, in your experience, were you ever in a place where you were resourceful enough to get into a circle that elevated you, but at that time you didn't have the resources on hand?
Oh, my whole life. Every city I've moved to. So before I moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, my buddies and I would go from Racine to Milwaukee, and it's like going from a smaller city of 90,000 people to a 1.7 million person. Like, it's like a mini Chicago, right? Like nightclubs. What I did is we started going to the clubs, and I started seeing, okay, that person had bottles last week when we were here. They have all the pretty girls at the table. I'm going to figure out who that guy is. And I go up and I tip a person. I'm like, hey, who's the guy right there? Oh, that's Adam. That's this person. That's that person. So I would go to my whiteboard and I would write down all the popular people's names in Milwaukee before I moved there. And guess what? I became friends with them within 3 months. I moved to Scottsdale and I knew a bottle service girl, and I was like, all right, who are the top 10 people that run the city in your standpoint? And she's like, okay, well, Falabi's one, this person's one, that person's one. I was friends with them in months. I didn't have the resources to hire coaches and hire mentors or people, because coaching wasn't big back when I started as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship wasn't big. I was called a loser. Like I was made fun of by teachers and friends of not doing good in school, wanting to start a business. Like I got ridiculed my whole life. And until once they saw a new car pop up, they're like, I guess you must be doing okay. Or they saw a condo, or once they saw materialistic shit, they were like, oh, damn, he's kind of making it. So I kind of fed off that for my beginning years, where I had to keep showing materialistic shit to keep getting their their respect. You know what I mean? So I didn't have the money back then to hire coaches. What I did is I did the due diligence. I found out who ran the city. I found out who the shot callers were, what the baddest girls in the city were, and guess what? I never screwed any of the girls. I mean, I've literally,
I love that.
I've been single. I've had fun in my day, but everything in the past 9 years has been business to me. And every time I'd see the baddest girls in the club, the baddest over here, I became friends with them, and I leveraged them to get ahead in business. Because I would go to dinner with them. We'd go to this party or go to this event at a nightclub, and they'd introduce me to every guy in the city. While every other guy was banging every girl in the city, here I am being introduced as one of their best friends and a loyal dude, respectful dude, and that's how my business kept elevating. I wasn't screwing my clientele.
That's fucking
Same thing
big.
out in Arizona.
That's big, dude.
Not many girls in Arizona can say that they've slept with me.
Right.
Like real talk. Not even kidding.
Right.
Because everything in my life is business. Everything in my life is being the best version of yourself, and going and doing that. I don't want a million girls going out and talking shit about Modus, about Avintiv Media, about me, about this or that. So I'm just friends with everybody. And that's the biggest thing. Like, people start businesses to get the girls or have the money or the cars, and it's the wrong thing to do because your business, it's not scalable.
Dude, I just
So
fucking
that's
love
just
that. I just love that.
That's my 2 cents in. Like, I just feel like people have too many bullshit excuses. Oh, I don't have the money for a coach. I don't have the money for this. All right, well, you have $7 a day for fucking cigarettes.
Yep. Yep.
You have $9 a month for Netflix.
Yep.
And like, you're telling me you can't come up with the resources to better your life, but you can come with the resources to buy potato chips and sit on the couch watching Netflix with your pack of cigarettes, and all that's $13.
No, dude, it's
Not judging anyone,
yeah.
not talking about anyone, but how many people spend money on these little e-cigarette things now? How many people invest in the dumbest shit in the world, and then they wonder why they can't afford a coach or they can't afford to level up their life?
That's all bullshit patterns showing up again. People are so comfortable spending money on things that like everybody else around them spends money on.
Yeah, I think when I grew up in the 80s, right? So I grew up in 88. I'm 29 years old, and 80s and 90s. So when I grew up, people that were successful were doctors, lawyers, celebrities, actors. And I think people back home, or just people in general in that era, look at what they saw on TV. Like reality TV popped up in the 90s, right? 90s and 2000s. Oh, that's what success is. Or the Kardashians. That's what success is. I'll never have that. So why would I start my own business? So people's mindsets, like, I do business coaching, but it's so much more than business coaching.
Mindset.
Like, one of my clients in North Scottsdale came to me as an online trainer, right? Does very well for himself. And he was like, John, I need to make more money. I'm like, okay, why? Let's build out your vision document, right? I have a 12 or 14-page vision packet that I do with all my clients.
Right.
And 2 paragraphs of his vision packet were all about his kids. And he's like, John, I need to make more money because I only saw my son once last year.
Fuck.
He lives in New York. I saw my son once last year. I can't afford to keep flying out there, so I need to make more money to fly my little boy out here. He texted me at Sterling's event after 4 coaching sessions for 2 hours, so 8 hours total. He called me. He's like, John, he texted me, and I called him like, dude, what's going on? Like, what, he's like, dude, I'm up $3,700 a month in revenue.
Yes.
I'm like, that's amazing. What are you going to do? He's like, I already bought my son's 4 flight tickets to come and see his daddy. So once you hear that, would you tell someone that John Boles sells coaching, or would you say that I just gave this client life? When we build websites or branding kits or Facebook ads for someone, our other competitor agencies sell websites. They sell Facebook ads. They sell services. My team's built off passion. I'm built off passion. So when my team builds websites, or we do branding or logos or coaching, we know that if we put a little bit more effort into this, it's going to convert higher. And when it converts higher, the client makes more money. The client spends more money on their kids, their college tuition, the community, they get to buy more groceries. Would you say that we did a website for them if their business grew 30%, or we gave them back their life?
Gave them back their life.
I don't sell services. I sell life.
Right.
I sell life to all my clients. And the majority of the time, I'm Dr. Phil. The majority of the time, literally, Dr. Phil, Tony Robbins, Lewis House. I'm like all of these people bumped up into one, and I talk about life. I talk about business. I talk about vision and mindset. But people aren't successful because of their mindset. It's not because of the resources. It's because of their mindset. And the whole first month of my coaching, I go over mindset, I go over vision, I go over where you're going in life, and I actually create you a roadmap for the next 5 years. Without that, you're nothing. Like, really, you're not going to scale your business. It is almost impossible to not have a game plan and a vision of where things are going and scale your business to 7 figures. It's just not going to happen.
Right. Holy shit, yeah. Yeah, and like for those of you that are watching or watching the replay, the most important thing, or like there, he said a lot of important things there, but if you guys live in a city, no matter what fucking city it is, if you don't know the top 10 people in that city, find that out. Like, go do some research, get out of your circle, get out of your comfort zone, go ask around, find out who are the most powerful people, get into their circles, right? And second, John, a lot of people that watch my content, they are solopreneurs just starting off their business. And since your experience with all the, Avintiv and starting all these businesses, how important do you think logo, website, and having that side of business set up? Because I feel like a lot of people use that, solopreneurs use that to hold them back. So like they would have a fucked up belief system, or their program isn't set up yet, and they just keep pushing money into their logo, their website, and other things. So
from a branding background, I think logos, branding, positioning, and website is very important. But devil's advocate, how many people stood up at Sterling's event without a website, without a logo, doing 15 grand a month? You know what I mean? So you don't need all of those things. When we work with clients, you need to be positioned correctly. So if your Instagram isn't positioned, if your branding name isn't positioned, if your logo isn't positioned, it's all about how you position it. If you have an Instagram page of 60,000 followers or 20,000 followers, 10,000 followers, and you are actually vulnerable and people can relate to you, you can build a business off that and then get a logo and a website later. But if you can't be vulnerable, if you're not positioned correctly, yeah, I would probably start out with a vision document and figure out where you want your company to go, and then figure out where you want to be positioned, look at different logo designs, and then take a bunch of different examples of what you like to an agency or to a graphic designer. And then that saves you so much cost, because if someone's creating it from scratch, they're going to charge you an arm and a leg. But if you bring 10 examples saying, I want you to take 10 of these examples and curate something in the middle of this, I want, these color schemes, boom, it's a couple $100 versus a couple $1,000. So to scale a company, yes, logo, branding, and websites are needed. You know what I mean? Like what Sterling went over and everything he taught in his course is 100% true. All those people are killing it without all that stuff. But I want to see where everyone's at in 6 months without a website, without logos, without a full brand behind them, without an operations built, without actually logistics in their company. I want to see how far they can scale it, because what I do for a living is I eliminate risk, and I create strategies and platforms with operations. Like, a lot of people can position themselves and close leads and close deals and offer services, but what happens at the end of the year when taxes are due and you didn't hire an accountant? What happens when you need to scale up your company and operations and hire your first intern or your first employee and you don't understand operations? Then what happens? Like, your leads and closing sales aren't going to mean shit. So I urge all these people to, yes, go after the sales, close the deals, but build out your business legitimately. Have customer service at the top of the forefront. Know how to run your business operationally, otherwise it's going to crumble. So no, you don't need all those things. You don't need the Grand Taj Mahal, everything. But yeah, you do need to be positioned correctly in the marketplace. Otherwise, the rest of the people are going to blow past you.
Yeah. Holy shit, dude.
Like, I just hired a client. A new client just hired me. It was my last one-on-one coaching client that I was taking on, and she's doing really well. Like, she's a little under 10 grand a month in revenue, but she's not positioned correctly. Her logo has biceps in it, and she's a female, and she's not wanting to market to bodybuilders. So all the pictures she posts, everything, and I was transparent with her. I told her, I was like, you're not positioned correctly to do 15 grand a month. You're not positioned correctly to do 30 grand a month. I can get you there easily. A lot of my clients are there.
Right.
One of my clients is about to be doing $250,000 a month come July.
Fuck.
Like, our clients are actually murdering it, but if you're not positioned correctly, you're not going to go anywhere. And if you don't know how to run a company, or if you don't have someone on your team that knows how to run a company, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to scale your business, and it's going to implode from within.
Have you read the book called Positioning?
I have not, but I own it. It's actually like, I buy so many books at the same time. What happens is I read a couple of them, and there's like 4 that get stuck at the bottom.
Yeah.
Positioning is.
No, dude, and I'm gonna, after like you mentioning positioning so much, I'm gonna go read that book, because I never finished it either. But I remember, like, there were so many like one-liners in that book that just change your whole perspective on running a business, and especially like marketing. See, like, when you come from the engineering and science background that I come from, and I think a lot of people here, we were always taught that build a product that's great and it'll sell itself, right? Be so good they can't ignore you, kind of thing. But even in my corporate life right now, we have a kick-ass product in healthcare, but we still have a kick-ass sales team. And that like, I remember talking to one of the realtors from Miami. She sells houses in Miami, and she's like, Bo, nothing sells itself anymore. And
No.
and it was like, poof, like that just changed my entire.
Like Modus Apparel, you can ask any of my competitors. Like we've done some of the most high quality materials and fabrics in the entire industry, but yet, you know, Randall, Gymshark, Aesthetic Revolution, all these guys are running circles around the brand because, you know, they're phenomenal at what they do. I've kind of shifted focus a little bit, but that's not, having a phenomenal product is not going to sell itself. In today's day and age, you need to have sales funnels, you need to have nurture campaigns, you need to have Facebook ads, PPC, product or influencers. Products don't just hop off the shelf and say, look at me. Doesn't matter how phenomenal they are. And in the fitness industry, if I would have probably gone down the influencer route and paid top dollar for people that had millions of followers and this and that, like I had influencers, but they weren't the iconic 4 million follower type influencers, the brand would probably be doing a couple $100,000 a month right now.
Yeah.
So it's all about positioning. If influencers are positioning your brand as the go-to, you are positioned correctly.
No, dude. And holy shit, so much value in whatever you're saying right there, because I think a lot of people just don't realize it. Almost everybody sees the, you know, the stylish entrepreneur side. And I was even talking to Randall about it at Arnold's. Like, the reason I came across him was through a marketing video he put out. And it was such a glamorous entrepreneur life in California. He was in like nice cars with tons of girls and tattoos. And like, who doesn't want to do that, right? But when I was talking to him one-on-one, he was telling me about all these challenges that you run into.
His mom and him lived on food stamps when they were growing up.
And like just the challenges of running that business or getting that business going with like taxes and so much shit.
Well, not only that, he's you know, he's Cambodian, I believe.
Yep.
So like growing up in Long Beach as a Cambodian, like Randall and I have talked for hours before, like he went through a lot of shit that a lot of people don't know about.
Right.
And everyone was making fun of him. Everyone looked at him bad because of tattoos. And like he's killing it. He's probably doing 10 to 15 million a year right now. He is murdering the game.
Yep.
Randall is definitely an icon in the fitness industry. I love being you know, being able to call him a friend now. I've looked up to him for a very long time. And
all right, brother, you're back.
so I have like 2 minutes left and I have another call.
All right, perfect. Last question for you. Shit, I forgot the question. What do you want to say to the audience that'll give them the shit ton of value? Something that you've learned over the last 9 years as an entrepreneur that you're like, if you could just give that to somebody who's just starting off, what would you say?
Provide value and be yourself. Don't live some fake life. Don't live some front. Don't put a mask on your face. People in today's day and age love authenticity. Be yourself. Be vulnerable. Don't use vulnerability to your benefit to get likes and shares and comments. Actually be vulnerable. None of this bullshit of, you know, this is my natural body, this is my angled body, like none of that shit. Like we don't care that you're trying to get attention. I'm actually talking about vulnerability, things that scared the fuck out of you, things that happened to you. Everything I talk about now is vulnerability. I have nothing to hide. I'm literally naked, just standing. Like, so find something, a product, a service, a business that you can provide value to someone and be vulnerable. Have your company be vulnerable. Don't act like you're some perfect company. Whatever your mission for the company is, make sure it's honesty, make sure it's truth, and live the same criteria for your life, and you will become successful.
Holy shit, man. What a great ending right there. Just because that shit will never expire. Like, authenticity and being vulnerable, that shit will not go away even in 20 years or 30 years.
It's like it's the color black. It's never going to go out of style. And all these new colors keep coming along. Authenticity and vulnerability is like black. It's always going to be in style.
I love it.
Just how it is.
I love it. Dude, I took shit ton of notes, and I'm going to watch all this again just because there's so much value for everybody who's watching. We dropped a lot of gold here. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining.
Absolutely, brother. I'll see you in LA soon.
Hell yeah, man. Take care.
All right, brother.